environment to the floor. The junk metal I added was worthless and would break into dust as soon as someone picked it up. I also used other things, like destroyed stone golems, to decorate the area. I felt it came out quite nice. I wasn't too worried about people flying over the junkyard straight to the entrance to the next set of floors. Mages and warriors high enough to do that could easily just battle their way through after all, and I would just be suffering losses by forcing them to fight. I had to think about rewards for these floors. A lot of the adventurers used to farm the greed traps, and I couldn't have that anymore. I was still trying to deal with the massive amount of gold I'd put into the market. Then again, part of the draw for the valley was the high payout. I tapped my chin, deciding to come back to it later. Moving over to a pile of junk, I created a trap inside, a machine gun placement that would rise and target anything that came within 30 meters of it. I kept the caliber down, though, so as long as an adventurer had a decent quality shield, they would be able to survive a few hits. This was only the first floor. I gave it a set amount of ammunition as well. It would be random in order to stop people from figuring it out easily. Once the turret was disabled, whether from waiting it out or by actual damage to the weapon, the party would find a chest with some coins in it. I made it so that the trap could judge how they achieved it. That way, if someone charged the weapon and survived, they would get more coins than someone who sat it out. I didn't want to flood the market again, so I kept it in the silver range. The mine was also gone. That had been the largest draw for many people living in the town. I snapped my fingers as an idea hit me. Though I kept to the lower tier of metals, I placed them where a person could get to relatively safely, a happy medium. Metal veins through the crater. This would allow people to mine. At the center of the crater, I recreated the entrance to the dungeon. Only this time, I went for overkill. The mech I'd made in Alara's dungeon now sat over the entrance, which was made of massive titanium double doors. The mech was mostly repaired, but I'd left its armor battle scarred for effect. Runes of all kind were traced on its surface. I wanted it to be a testament to how far my magical knowledge had advanced since I'd come to this world. There were times that I felt I'd cheated since my dungeon senses helped a great deal. However, I knew that even a dungeon would have a challenging time matching my speed in learning magic. Starfall, back in its spear form, went into the mech's hands. He looked like a guardian deity. I just hoped that didn't cause anyone to freak out and not dive into the dungeon. If it did, I would cross that bridge when I came to it. The saddest part about the dungeon floor being turned to rubble was that Colossus and the framework for his boss creation were completely destroyed by Morka pulverizing her way through. I considered what to do about the boss. I needed something to fit the theme of the floor. But Colossus had always been too powerful, in my opinion. It was good while I was weaker, but now I didn't mind people getting deeper. The strength of the people living here needed to be raised so they could defend themselves. Thinking about what I wanted to create, I channeled mana into a creation spell. I kept the flow low, however, as I didn't need another nova. A humanoid form quickly took shape in front of me. Grasping a gun, cannon-like in both shape and size. It possessed a lot of rusted parts and wore overalls. Its face was more like a mask with only one eye, which flickered on, and it looked at me. Wires made up its hair, reminding me of dreadlocks. I always made sure to give my creations the ability to talk. However, after Colossus's change, this time I waited to see what I was dealing with. "Creator, thanks for giving me life, man," it said with a fist bump. His tone was masculine. "Ah, no problem. What should we call you?" I asked, not even surprised anymore. "I be leaving it to you. You the boss," he said as he pulled something off his belt. A slot opened on his faceplate, and he inserted what looked like a pipe. A moment later, he blew out a stream of steam. "Ah, that be the stuff there." I looked around at the junkyard, trying to think up a name.